recording. Cool. Alright. So, let me see if I can zoom in too a little bit here. Boom. Oh, that's not good. It doesn't like that because I have two monitors, I guess. Set screen. You write in quotes the word graphics, and then you write colon 800 semicolon 600, and then close the brackets. Now this will look really small on my monitor, I think. Will it? Let's add a loop, and we write end loop to close that, and let's just draw a circle. Draw, fill, oval. I know most of you probably won't remember any of this. We'll draw it at 50 and 50, and we'll draw it with a radius of 20 and 20, and we'll call it red like that. Oopsie. There. A little red oval on the screen. That should be good for us. And then one of the things we had to do was we could move it. So we could make a variable var x, and then we would tell it it's an integer, and then we could also tell it it's 50, right? Okay, same colon equals 50, and then we could write x here instead of 50. So that gives us the ability to actually change this x position now if we want. And the way we would do that was we would just say somewhere x colon equals x plus 1, something like that. And there it goes. It flies off the screen before you could ever even see it. So we should probably slow down our loop. We talked about that when we were gone, or when we were in class, but the command is delay, and you pick milliseconds. So I'm picking 17, because that'll slow my loop down to 60 times per second. The reason that is because if I go to a calculator, and I type in 1 divided by 60, it gives me around 16.6 milliseconds. That's why I put 17. So if we run that, now you can see it kind of creeps along the screen there much more slowly, but it's not erasing anything, and it's just smearing it. So at the beginning of my loop, I write CLS, which will clear the screen, and now I have it moving across the screen. One of the things that bothered us early on is that it blinks a little bit, and that's a problem because the monitor and the actual code are not synced up to how the monitor refreshes itself. And so you have to write set screen like this, and you have to write in quotes off screen only like that. And then the other thing you have to do is before your delay, you have to write view.update. So every loop when you write a project should have a CLS, a clear screen, a view.update, and a delay 17. And this word off screen only. That'll make sure everything's going to animate nicely and move across the screen and not blink. So mine's not blinking anymore. I don't know how well you could see yours there, but... Okay, so if I want to speed it up, I can just turn this to a 2, or a 3, or a 4, or a 5, and now what's happening is, there's 5 there, a little better. Basically this code here is just looping over and over and over and over again, okay? The only problem is if I want it to bounce off the screen, I have to be able to change this 5 to a -5, so I'm going to turn that into a variable called x step, and then from there I'm going to say var x step colon equals 5, like that, okay? And then that should bounce off the screen. Boom. Hey. I'm teaching right now. I got my whole class here. Okay, so that's good there. And I got my special guest with me today. Hold on. There she is. That's Elle. You want to say hi? Hi. You have class. You have to go upstairs and start your class, don't you? Oh. Yeah? There you go. Okay. So, now, I want to change x step as soon as the ball gets past the screen. So I'll say something like if, and then I'll say if x is ever greater than, now my screen's 800, so let's see what happens if I say 800. And then every if statement in turn, you'll use the word then. And also I closes it with an end if. So I'll say if x is ever greater than 800, I want x step to change its direction. So I could either say -5 like that, or in Scratch, remember we also just said let it equal the negative of itself, and then that will make sure it switches its direction. So hopefully it should bounce. Oh, there it goes. Good. Okay. Oops. I'm going to stop that. And I'm going to run it one more time and see if it hits right on the edge. And it looks like it goes a little bit past. And actually the reason it does that is because it has a radius of 50 in the x direction, but it measures the 800 from the center of the ball. So I should actually say 750 here like that. Or no, the radius is 20, so I should say 780, right? And then it'll bounce right on the edge like that. Goosh. It doesn't bounce off the other side yet, so I'll make another part in my if statement. I could make a separate if statement, but I'm actually going to just do an else if statement. The difference being that once it meets one of the conditions, it quits out of the if statement. If I put two separate if statements, it has to check both of them. So just for an efficiency purpose, not like it matters too much for us, but we might as well just have it checking one if statement only. That's why you would use an else if. So if it's ever less than 20, I'll also bounce it. Okay, yes, it works. Perfect. And so what I might want to do now is do all the same stuff in the y direction. Shouldn't be that hard to just copy and paste. So I'm just going to go copy. Yeah. And paste like that. And then I'll copy this line as well. And I'll copy this whole if statement as well, but change everything to y's instead of x's. So this will be y, this will be y, oops, minus, this will be y, this will be y, and this will be y, and this will be y step as well. And then my screen is no longer 800, it's 500. Okay, so there we go. Doesn't really change in the y direction, and that's because I forgot to put y here. It said 50, right? So now it will bounce in both directions. Yeah. So now I have my screen bouncing off my ball. Okay? If you can get Turing working today, I want your next goal to be, so try to get that running. I'll post the video I just talked about on YouTube. But for your next part, I want you to draw a square in the middle of the screen. Draw, fill, box, I believe is the command. So I'll say 400, 300, and 500, 400, and maybe green or something, or blue. You can pick any color you want. Okay, so there it is. In the help section, Turing reference, I wonder if mine will work, and it does, yes. Go to keyboard, okay, and click on it. And it actually is a command called input.keydown. This will let you control the keyboard, okay? And you can see an example of it here. They make this weird variable, and it's an array of character variables, but they're also true and false. It's basically just checking the keyboard for you. And then inside of the same loop you're running your ball bouncing, you use this command called input.keyDown. You pass it the name of the variable chars, and then you can look to see if this one shows you if the arrow keys are pressed, but you could actually use it to move a rectangle. So maybe for today, I think your goal should be, if you have Turing, try to get the rectangle moving around with the keyboard. Let me just see if I can run it, because then we could figure out a way to get the ball to bounce off the square maybe tomorrow. Okay? So I've already taken attendance. If you're here, that's good. If you need anything from me, I will be available by email all day, and yeah, I'll be in and around my computer here. Okay? I actually have to get my children's set up for their school right now, so I will be back, but yeah, you don't have to stay. You can hang out if you want, or email me any questions you have. And I did attendance, so you're good. All right, if you were here. Awesome. Okay, so we'll talk to you soon.